Now, obviously, we're not going to see posture from this angle, to be fair, but you can generally see when someone stood the ball with a fairly straight back, they just look a little bit sort of tall and a better position to start with. Okay, so in terms of your posture, we can just be, I think sometimes, especially in the winter when it's cold, we're working at home, just sort of sit down and it's easy to get very lazy with the posture. So just to be sort of disciplined with that, getting the club sort of through the back of your head, the shoulder blades and your lower back, and just sort of get used to just tilting kind of with a straight back and forth that way, okay? But if we look at the movement now when you're sort of swinging back so wasn't too bad. It gets a little bit narrow. That's good. Then we start getting a little bit narrower here with the arm bend. There's a bit more bend here, which we don't really need. And that's, again, I wouldn't worry about it yet, but in terms of something we can move on to later on, okay? We're going to sort of try and fix that. As you start coming down now from here, your right arm will kind of jam. You can almost see your right arm will disappear now behind your back. So when you come into the golf ball now, your elbow's behind you. You've got to do so much of this to try and basically get your club back to the golf ball. Otherwise, the club's not going to get back in there. So when you're hitting the golf ball here now, this right arm is really kind of tucked in there, really bending. And you were making decent contact because you were too close to the ball. So by being maybe that much too close to it, maybe a bit more too fair because your hands were quite close in there, and then the adjustment of bringing your arms in, those 2 or 3 things were helping, and you kind of figured out where it was. But again, as you start to know me now, so in terms of my coaching, as much as nice you hit the ball as far as you have been and as well you're playing, we want to keep it going. And there's no point going, okay, great, good stuff, yeah, I'll see you in a year's time, because we want to keep progressing and get you down to sort of the low 90s and then breaking 90 and this kind of stuff. So, and those drives are going 180, 210 on the first, 230 I suppose, relative with the weather conditions, keep it going, yeah. So we look at this right hand one here now with your swing. This is just your one arm swings by yourselves, okay? I want to sort of show you so you can sort of see how your body moves, okay? Now this is basically how long your swing was when you did 100 yards, okay? Not even a full shoulder turn, okay? Club coming back now, you can see now your arm is starting to extend here. And look, when you come to the golf ball, as your hand is about here at impact, your right arm now, as you can see, is sort of more towards your chest. If we just sort of clear that, just look at the difference in your right arm there to there. That looks very, I almost want to keep my elbow in, or the arm under your shoulder tucked in, and very sort of speed restrictive movement. Whereas this movement now, there's speed there, okay, and the body's kind of just following suit with that. You think back at impact there now, your torso for the most part is pretty much aiming there. Whereas here on that one, it's aiming over there somewhere. So I go and really pull your chest through. And as we said before, if the body spins through really fast, the club itself is just going to work a lot slower, because you're not going to get that release of that club we discussed. I think almost the first few lessons way back when we try and get that club almost flicking in some ways. Yeah, that release of the club is going to give us the power. So when the arm was swinging sort of one-handed, it was something you sort of did fairly naturally here. And then what you can do is start trying to mirror or kind of map where your left hand would be kind of in there. So a little bit of a softening of the left elbow, and then your hand would go there. So in terms of hitting shots, hit some shots one-handed. Use that as your warm-up. Hit 20 shots or so, or 10 shots, just make it a strike with the one hand and see how far it goes, or how well you can strike it. And then when you swing to kind of a position like this or whatever, that's good to maybe sort of around the L position, where sort of an L there kind of thing. Hold it there and then think, okay, where's my left hand going to go? And how would my left hand now fit on the club? My arm up here, my left arm, okay, just sit in there. I want to try and bring it in here or do this. Just, my right arm's here, so my left arm will just sort of sit fairly comfortably there. So your arms on both sides are kind of doing this motion with obviously that and that with across the chest. But your arms have got to work this way across the torso. We don't want to be bringing it in here and then having to twist the body too much, okay? I think in terms of the takeaway, you've got that pretty quick, okay? I would still practice it just as a checkpoint to make sure that club is going back a little bit more square, not turned down quite so much. We're not really rotating or doing anything else this way. It's taking your head. If I take my hand in and just do this, okay, the club's going to stand at a certain angle, okay? If we do this, that's obviously wrong. Likewise, if we do that, it's wrong. And that's what I think a lot of people often do in the golf swing, is they create more movements which require more adjustments on the way down. So if your club starts off at address, you've got a fairly good, from this position, a lot of good things enter the grip, club face and feet alignment, all that kind of stuff's good. If your club at address is aiming to your target, and in the takeaway you rotate it so it aims over here somewhere, in the downswing you then try and over-rotate it back to target by kind of doing this, which then lends itself to that kind of holding onto the club face. Keep the elbow in and just block it, which as much as you're in the ball further now, hopefully you can see from this there's still more power. I mean, you look at someone like Leon. Played with Leon in the groups, yeah? Yeah. He's... And how old are you? I'm asking. Age. How old are you? Yes, he's 38. So age isn't a thing in terms of being older or younger. Height-wise, he's about the same as you, isn't he? Okay? Physique-wise, I wouldn't say he's stacked or massively muscly, okay? And it's a 6 or a 7 iron, like 170, 125, okay? Or 6 irons, so based on what, and he's been playing for long, he's got a bit more ability to do that and stuff, but again, distance-wise, he just creates more speed and power, 'cause he's got more of this kind of movement here with both hands, so you're losing a bit of power, not because of height, strength, physique, age, whatever ability, it's just the technique you're creating to sort of bring the arms in here, not quite maximising. So you've probably gone from, when we first started back in the summer, you were probably giving the ball 60% of what you actually had. Now we're having the 75 to 80%, but there's still more we can give, which is a nice thing to be able to, we can aim towards that. And I think hopefully now, me now saying that, you can go, well actually, you said that back when I was at 60% and hitting it 105 yards, and now I get it 130, 140. If I said, oh, you're going to 6 iron 150, but like, oh, 6 iron, what's 160? You're like, okay, I can believe that, because you've proved what you can do bit by bit. And there will be a point where you go, okay, that's kind of your limit, okay? I'm going to go 220, 230, but we can get to a number where it's going to be going that a little bit further. Your drive will be carrying 200 yards. The golf course now is going to be a lot smaller. Hey, if you're in a 7 iron into a green or on a 3-wood, game's a lot easier, yeah? You're going 20, 30 yards further and taking a lot less club to go the same distance. It's almost 4 or 5 clubs in terms of differences. Okay, mate? Make sense?
Yeah.
Good man. Okay, so